Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the cold spell we have that is continuing throughout the British Isles over the course of the next week. Really, it looks likely now it's towards next weekend we could start to see a breakdown. So we've got at least 7 to maybe as much as 10 days of very cold conditions where temperatures hardly get above freezing in the day and well below freezing overnight. A lot of snow showers around, and we're starting now to keep an eye on some features that could start to appear and give significant snow in areas. Now, we've got one feature that's cropped up in the last 24 hours for the southeast of England through the London area, Sussex, maybe into Essex, East Anglia and Kent. We have got now a yellow Met Office snow and ice warning for potentially 2 to 5 centimetres widely and up to 10 centimetres in some places for a very small, localised but potentially quite intense feature moving up in the southeast. A small little low pressure that has developed or is developing within the flow could give some very heavy snow there locally. You never know, it could push further northwards and westwards, maybe into the East Midlands, maybe further westwards as well. So we'll have to see exactly what happens with that. But it's just an example of these sort of features that we're going to be seeing cropping up pretty much most days in terms of increased shower activity and maybe some intense snow. So I'll continue to have a look at the weather warnings and the precipitation charts over the course of the next few days. And then, of course, towards the end of the video, we'll have a look at the longer range as well, have a look at the potential for next week for frontal snow and maybe, of course, the breakdown that could be happening towards sort of day 10. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see still plenty of showers around, a lot of green here showing rain, but whenever any of these showers come inland, they will be readily falling as snow. Now, you can see across Scotland, we've seen a lot of snowfall here over the past 24 hours, and we're still continuing to see this lake effect sort of snow coming in from the north, with a lot of heavy snow showers in places. Again, it's very hit and miss, but wherever these showers do occur, with the freezing cold temperatures, they will accumulate quite quickly. You can see elsewhere, Northern Ireland still seeing a lot of showers. The East Coast less so. That's because the wind direction has veered slightly more northwesterly. That does bring the risk of more heavier showers for parts of the northwest and North Wales. You can see some quite intense showers pushing in here, and I wouldn't be surprised some areas around Manchester could see a few centimetres of snow today just from these line of showers. Again, very heavy snow within these showers, very locally, but could be quite heavy and could dump some snow in a very short space of time. And of course, the one big thing with this cold spell is the temperatures are so cold and the ground temperatures are now well below freezing that any snow that falls out of the sky will readily settle. Maybe during the peak of the day around sort of 11 a.m. to sort of 2 p.m. It may struggle a bit on water or sort of darker surfaces where we've got some sun, but any grassy surfaces, any time when it's dark, the snow will readily settle. So that is an issue. Where sometimes we get these sort of events where the snow takes some time to settle, to cool the ground down, the air temperature is slightly above freezing, so it has to take time to cool the air down through evaporative cooling. But in this scenario, any snow that falls out of the sky could accumulate, and that's why this feature in the southeast we're looking at for Sunday, even though it's very small, it doesn't look overly too intense, could be quite heavy snowfall rates within it, could still cause a lot of issues because all that snow falling out of the sky will start to accumulate. But you can see at the moment, as I'm recording this around 1 p.m, still plenty of showers around, but nothing too severe. These showers in the northwest could veer slightly more inland. Now, if you have a look at the temperatures as of around 1 p.m, you can see cold today. Continually very cold, and the cold is sort of going to peak probably over the course of the weekend into the middle of next week, where many areas won't get above 1 degree in the day. Widely lighter blues, which indicates temperatures in and around the freezing point. Some slightly darker blues, especially towards the coasts. Again, those are temperatures in around that sort of 3 or 4 degree mark, but still widely towards freezing. Extremely cold once again. And if we do put on the past 24-hour snowfall, if we can just find that, again, you'll be able to estimate the rough amount of snow that's fallen out of the sky in the past 24 hours. And again, you can see a lot of showers pushing in from the northeast, but mainly it's Northern Ireland and Scotland seeing the snow Would expect, though, over the course of the next few days, more snow to be falling over central England and maybe the south as well, and especially the southeast through Sunday. Now, if you look at the weather warnings, we've got 4 days of weather warnings, and I think this will continue all the way out probably till next weekend. Again, Met Office have got a lead time of maybe 2 or 3 days at the moment. Snow and ice warning for Scotland from earlier on Wednesday all the way until midday on Sunday. Snow, showers and icy surfaces bringing some travel disruption. Again, 2 to 5 centimetres possible at low levels with 10 to 15 centimetres above higher ground, perhaps as much as 30 centimetres. And again, over the highest ground where the temperatures don't even get above freezing during the day, highly likely we'll just keep accumulating this snow over the course of the next week. So again, high likelihood lower end of the impact matrix. And we still have this ice warning that is issued from 4 p.m. on Thursday all the way till midday on Sunday. Again, frequent wintry showers in these areas, falling to frozen surfaces, as I said, leading to forming of icy patches and the potential for several centimetres of accumulation over the higher ground especially. Again, ice risk, because the general sort of issues with this will be the temperatures causing icy stretches, but snow will also be a problem. Still got those snow and ice warnings there, and then we've got another snow and ice warning from 3 p.m. tomorrow until midday on Sunday for parts of southern and eastern Scotland. Again, you can see again 1 to 2 centimetres near coasts, maybe 5 centimetres further inland, low levels, and then 10 to 20 centimetres above 200 metres, and then a lot of ice is expected as well. Again, sort of a messy picture. As it says here, maybe some rain or sleet near the coast, but mostly snow around. So again, high likelihood, lower end of the impact matrix. Again, I must emphasise, all this snow falling is mostly convection based, therefore it's so difficult to predict. Some areas in this yellow warning zone will see heavy snow, some will not see any. Some areas without any warnings will see snow, hopefully not significant snow, but we could see snow, and again, some areas will completely miss out. Through Sunday, though, we've still got all those warnings, but we've now got this new warning in the southeast, which I must say is probably widely the most significant warning we've seen for this cold spell so far, just simply because it's impacting area which is highly populated, highly populated with a high population density, and of course these snow amounts that could fall. It says here, while confidence is very low at this stage, there is a chance that a band of sleet and snow could push into east and southeast England. There's the potential to give accumulations of 2 to 5 centimetres quite widely, and perhaps up to 10 centimetres in some places. Again, I do think this will depend very much on the time of day it comes. You can see it's from 9 a.m. on Sunday until 9 a.m. on Monday. If it does fall after dark, we will see accumulations a lot faster. As I said at the start of the video, through those peak hours of the day, we'll still see melting and still see those surface conditions rise above freezing, especially on darker surfaces where we're seeing more and more absorption of the sunlight. So that will decide exactly how much accumulations we will see. Again, if this falls overnight, we will see more accumulations, potentially 10 centimetres over higher ground, and again, ice will be a problem. But I must emphasise, very low likelihood, but high impact. So this, if it did increase in likelihood, there is a chance an amber warning could be issued for this, just for the potential for heavy snow here, but we'll just have to see. And again, as I said, this could push further northwards, perhaps into the East Midlands, maybe into East Anglia, perhaps further westwards as well into Oxfordshire, more into central southern England as well, just depending on the positioning of it. And through Monday, we still have that snow and ice warning in the southeast, but I do think there will be other warnings issued, perhaps in the next day or two. Now, if you go over to the UKV and have a look at those precipitation and temperature charts over the next 5 days, you can see all the snow showers pushing in at the moment. Nothing too significant, perhaps coming mostly inland across the eastern parts of Scotland and maybe that northwest England sort of corridor there. And then eventually overnight tonight into tomorrow, a lot of showers across Scotland, more across northwest England and Wales, and eventually into tomorrow afternoon, a lot of snow around for those northern and western coasts. But elsewhere inland towards the east, it's a pretty pleasant day. However, as we head into Saturday and Sunday, you can see all these showers starting to form in the channel. Now, this is this little low pressure system that's starting to develop, and it starts to form in the southeast through Sunday morning, and it starts to push in, and it starts to give some very heavy snow very locally. Again, the UKV normally gets sort of the positioning right, but perhaps not always sort of the breadth of snow. It normally gets where the most intense snow is. Here, straight into central London, but it could be more widely sort of lighter snow with this. all the way through the afternoon before petering out and sending some showers slightly further northwards and westwards. And then as we head into Monday, perhaps a bit of a system coming in there off the North Sea, giving some snow down the northern and eastern coast, perhaps into, again, northeast England, East Anglia, the East Midlands, again, fading though, have to keep an eye on it. And as we head into next week, you can see weather front bumping into the far south, but mainly giving snow in the across northern France before a lot of showers packing into northeast coast with more of a northeasterly wind. Again, this could favour more convection along the east coast. I do want to go back briefly though to early hours of Sunday. You can see that little low developing in the far southeast. Very localised little low pressure system there, just dropping to around 1,006 millibars. So nothing crazy, but just a small little feature giving heavy snow. So that is something we do need to keep an eye on. And of course, if you look at the new snow depth, you can see dropping 20 to 30 centimetres widely in this small region. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on this, but it could be a very intense feature, very locally there in the southeast. Really need to keep an eye on that. We'll see other models in a minute, not all showing this as wide in the same position and as large as intense, but it is something very much need to keep an eye on for Sunday. Now, if you have a look at the max temperatures, you can see over the course of the day, temperatures hardly getting above freezing, widely sort of 1 to 3 degrees, elsewhere below freezing. Overnight tonight, those temperatures will plummet once again, widely towards the -3 to -5 point, and by tomorrow afternoon, we can see those temperatures once again 1, 2 degrees, maybe max 3 or 4 in the far south. As we head through Saturday evening into Sunday, look at that. Temperatures dropping widely below freezing, so the ground will freeze rock hard. And that system that moves in the southeast will keep those temperatures widely below freezing through Sunday. And of course, that snow will readily settle in all those areas that snow could affect. Again, very much need to keep an eye on that. And then through Monday, again, very cold day, widely below freezing. And that continues all the way to Tuesday, when again, it is widely 1 or 2 degrees and bitterly cold. So yeah, got to keep an eye on that snow widely over the course of the next couple of days, and especially that southeast corner where, yes, it doesn't look like it's going to be absolutely widespread, but where this small low pressure system does form, if it does form to the same intensity the UKV is making out to be, could cause significant snow in a small area. Now, if you go to the arpège and just compare the precipitation charts here, very much want to look at the showers around and, of course, that system on Sunday. Now, you can see a lot of showers around at the moment, especially across northern Wales, northwest England, and into Scotland and Northern Ireland. Continue to push in, could slightly come further inland through tomorrow. And then we see that system in the far southeast starting to develop, but doesn't come particularly far inland and just affects, really, Kent through Sunday into Monday as well, and parts of southwest England, so doesn't properly develop anywhere near as much. Yes, it comes inland for a time for the early hours of Monday, dropping a bit of snow, but nothing significant before petering away. So again, two very similar runs showing very similar positioning of the low, but not developing it anywhere near as much, and therefore that snow maybe giving 1 or 2 centimetres, not 10 centimetres plus like the UKV was showing. If you go to the icon run, see how that does compare. The 6 o'clock run from this morning. Again, a lot of snow showers around at the moment as we head into Sunday. See a bit of a system goes down the northeast coast there. And then snow trying to push into the far southeast, but not really pushing in at all, staying across northern France, very interestingly. And then we see a band of snow move down the northeast coast and pushing in. And that could give quite a bit of snow across the East Midlands, maybe, northeast England and East Anglia. And as we head into next week, a lot more snow showers packing in from the east. And again, look at the snow depth, you can see definitely more across the north and the east there through early hours of Wednesday. And finally, if we have a look at the GFS, you can see as we head towards Sunday, a lot of showers around, and eventually that system pushes into the southeast, giving significant snow there for a time in the southeast corner, for eventually clearing away. And then we go into plenty of showers next week, and pushing down the east coast especially, before eventually weather fronts bump into it next Sunday, giving snow initially before turning back to rain, sort of petering away. So you can see there are 4 different models, all showing a lot of snow showers around, all potentially developing that system in the southeast. but all giving slightly different outcomes. And then, of course, we've got to keep an eye on other features that could develop elsewhere, especially next week with the easterly flow coming in. That is just prime position to see systems develop there. And, of course, it's something to keep an eye on over the course of the next few days and generally the next week, as this cold spell has still got quite a lot of legs left in it. So we do go over to the GFS and see what's happening over the course of the next sort of 15 days or so. You can see northeasterly winds at the moment, or northerly winds really, with low pressure in and around, giving plenty of heavy snow showers and generally very cold conditions. You see the weather front trying to push in from the southwest during the middle of next week, but sliding into France and keeping all that precipitation to our south. So we stay very cold, but we stay but we don't see the snow or significant snow. We then push in another northerly wind or northeasterly wind, and as we head into next week, high pressure builds in from the GFS here, keeping us cold initially, but before our weather front slides in, giving us much milder conditions. But one thing I do want to highlight from this GFS run is that the blocking never goes away. It loses out initially, but it never goes away, and watch what happens for Christmas. Low pressure slides to our south, we pull in a bitterly cold easterly wind for Christmas Eve, and into Christmas Day we are frigid with a weather front positioned across the western part of the country trying to push in, and that could give heavy snow for Christmas Day potentially as we develop. For eventually we do look likely to go more into westerly, but a brief couple day cold spell there over Christmas. So again, that's one thing we have to keep an eye on, is the fact that, yes, we've got significant blocking around at the moment, potentially another 7 to maybe 10 days of this cold spell left. But this sort of high-pressure blocking signal doesn't just disintegrate. Yes, it probably will weaken towards the second half of the winter. These sort of signals don't hang around forever, but it's unlikely just to dissipate completely in the space of a couple days. So, yes, there is quite a high chance we see some sort of cold weather return towards the end of the month, maybe into January, but we'll have to see. Now, if you look at the GM, have a look at what's happening here in the next 10 days. Basically cold weather at the moment. Low pressure trying to run it in, but staying well to our south towards next week. And we stay very cold and blocked with northerly winds, but eventually low pressure runs in off the Atlantic next weekend and gives us mild westerly conditions, and could actually go quite stormy there with a lot of low pressure systems coming in on a flat westerly, and that blocking has pretty much disintegrated here. Again, it could return for the Christmas period, but here around the 18th, 19th of December, it does dissipate. If you look at the ECMWF, see how that does compare. Again, blocking around at the moment, very cold conditions, low pressure trying to run in off the Atlantic, but not particularly successful, and we stay very cold and a northerly wind. A lot of low pressure systems pushing around there, so again, could see a lot more heavy snow maybe next Thursday to Saturday, but eventually we do see the mild weather breakthrough with a westerly wind. Blocking still towards Greenland and Iceland, still trying to push a northerly wind in, so I wouldn't be surprised if this low cleared and we went colder once again in around that Christmas period. So again, very interesting seeing this longer term. Definitely a signal for low pressure to win off the Atlantic eventually in around 8 to 10 days time. If you finish by just looking at the ensemble members, having a look what that's showing, you can see again a breakdown roughly around sort of 8 to 10 days time, around that 17th to 19th of December period. Yes, maybe 3 to 5 ensemble members keep us cold all the way from the breakdown, from most ensemble members all the way to the Christmas period, but the majority trend us towards average once again from around the 19th of December. So highly likely we stay very cold for another 7 at least to maybe 10 days, with the potential for snow increasing towards the weekend and next week, with small features developing, especially with that Atlantic throwing more moisture towards us, definitely increases the chance of seeing more significant snow next week. Again, I don't think we'll see a frontal system that's staying more into France, but I do think there is the potential for more of these small features that could develop similar to the system that's likely on Sunday. But yeah, definitely does look like a bit of a breakdown now, starting to definitely appear for around that 17th to 19th of December point. I do remember about a week ago we're thinking it could break down on the 11th or 12th, which is the next couple of days, but it's continually been pushed back by around a week now. It could get pushed back even more, but I definitely think there is more of a signal now, definitely more of a rise in upper air temperatures towards that 17th to 19th of December point. But again, how that breakdown happens, whether it's messy with the snow turning to rain or whether it's just a clean break. We're going very cold, very mild in the space of 6 hours. We'll have to see. Look at the no snow spikes, and you can see significant snow spikes are starting to appear for next week. So I definitely do think, regardless of what happens this weekend, there will be a lot of snow around next week, quite widely, especially more for eastern areas as well, and maybe for the south as well, simply because that wind direction is veering more easterly, and moisture is getting chucked up from the south. So small features will develop with that moisture. And again, you can see the dew points well below freezing all the way to around the 19th of December. So overnight frost and wintry precipitation look very likely for the next week. Very rarely do we say that the next week, most precipitation that falls out of the sky will be snow widely. And of course, the 2 metre temperatures, look at that, hardly getting above freezing for the next sort of 8-9 days. And again, the GFS ensembles don't do the overnight temperatures justice, or even the daytime temperatures justice. Widely, it'll be around 1 or 2 degrees, especially towards this weekend and early next week. More likely 0 degrees, especially with snow on the ground in places, and that could happen for London on Sunday. And overnight temperatures widely toward that -2 to -5 point, depending on cloud amounts, of course. And if we do just finish, we'll have a look at the ECMWF ensembles just to compare the breakdown. Again, it's that 17th to 19th point. We're seeing a rise, maybe more towards the 19th, 20th here, but still a rise at that point. And again, precipitation increasing as well. So highly likely we do go slightly milder, more towards average, but it's no huge mild signal. It's just a mild sector that we saw from the operational runs pushing in. So do I expect us to go into a huge mild westerly spell? I don't think so. I think it will go slightly milder, but I do think we'll see blocking and cold conditions generally sort of stay around. But will we see anything like we're seeing at the moment? Probably not. This is very, very rare we see something this sustained, because from the day it turned sort of towards 3 or 4 degrees, which was almost a week ago now, we start to see those initial easterly winds. Yes, we didn't see any snow really at all low levels, but it was cold, it was below average, and it looks like we're going to see maybe 2 weeks, potentially 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on exactly your position of the country, of below average conditions, well below average conditions in the winter as well, which is something we haven't seen for quite a long time. It is really the longevity of this cold spell that will be the thing we remember. And of course, we'll have to see if we do see any proper significant snow next week. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you're around the southeast, make sure you stay safe on Sunday and Monday. There could be significant snow around. It's just one we've got to keep up to date with and keep an eye on what's happening with the weather warnings and the short range models. I'm sure that weather warning will be updated, especially tomorrow. So of course I'll do another update on that tomorrow. So make sure you do keep up to date with the videos. And look at the Met Office warnings as well. And if you are out of the snow at the moment, you haven't seen any snow at all, and you're not seeing any snow potentially this weekend in those sort of prone areas, there is the potential for next week. I know a lot of people watching this will want to see some snow at least falling from the sky, which I do think will happen next week, especially with the easterly flow. Those snow showers will happen more widely across the east coast and will drift further inland. And of course, moisture is getting chucked up from the south as well, which could give snow more widely in the south at times. So definitely do think there is more wintry potential next week, along with the bitterly cold temperatures continuing. So if you haven't seen any snow so far and you're really looking forward to some, I do think we'll see some more widely snow showers next week. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. Make sure you stay safe out there. It is freezing cold, and of course the snow risks. And I'll see you again for another video soon.